continue on that topic, we do agree that there is a lot of quality Canadian hip hop, but does it make it into the playlist of the average program director and or DJ in the clubs? And why is that? I'll open that up to you guys again.
For me, I think there's a little bit of politics that go on. It's not like I'm calling anybody out or anything, but I think just certain people that are just in positions of power tend to, you know, kind of just deal with the people that they're dealing with face to face. And a lot of artists don't have the, you know, travel money to kind of be all around and up in clubs, up in offices and radio stations, people's faces. So they kind of get brushed under the rug if they're not willing to just go that whole route. So I think that plays a part in it. Just the politics and the dynamics of the scene here. Toronto's, speaking specifically towards Toronto, it's like, you know, we're halfway in between New York and other major cities in our own country, and we're kind of on our own, so we don't really, it's not that easy if, you know, let's say a New York MC to drive out to Philly, do a show, or kind of break himself. So it's like, if you're not really meeting people and always in people's ear, then, you know, what would be the onus upon them to really stick up for you? I know Wristpect probably is just his natural love of MCs and Canadian hip-hop, why he puts it on his own back to do it, but I mean, there's no real incentive there, so it's not something people are getting really paid for or nothing like that.
All right.
So it's kind of their own decision to just be more political about who they promote.
So let me talk to the DJ about this, because again, as a DJ, one of the things that I've made a change of myself over recent years is, once the quality got to the point where it was comparable to what's coming out of the States, what's coming out of the UK and things of that nature, I made a decided choice to start playing more Canadian music. And obviously, again, in the clubs, there is a barrier. Like Arms was talking about from Vancouver, he was talking about the fact that people just don't know the artists as much and things of that nature. But if the quality's there and we don't have an infrastructure in Canada that will support that, who does that now fall on? So I'll just let you guys talk about that. Talk about the concept of playing an artist, Canadian versus American, if quality's not an issue.
I think the onus is on us to break it and push that music. Like, I remember, I think it was like the day that Drake dropped Ransom, I was out in Montreal with Sir Lancelot and we were doing a party. And we were playing, you know, club bangers, American music mostly, because that's what the hits were. And we played that record and we pulled it up and everyone stopped dancing and looked at us like we were retarded, didn't know what was going on. And this was right on the verge, the cusp of Drake blowing up globally, right? But we just felt the song and we supported him as an artist, so we broke the record to 800 people in Montreal that night. And you know, the song caught on a few days later, and those people are going to remember you in the club breaking that record to them first. So I think the responsibility falls on us to push the quality music that we stand behind as DJs. If we're not doing it, you know, the program directors aren't going to do it. No one's going to do it for you. So it starts with us. I think we have to take a stance in the club and take a risk, and people might stop dancing, but if that's what it's going to take to let people know that, hey, I'm telling you this is a hot record, you guys need to pay attention, and I'm going to stop the music and pull it up and play it from the top, then people will slowly start to understand, you know what I mean? I think we have a lot of responsibility as DJs. In the States, you see that going on all the time. If you go to New York, these guys are behind their records and artists so heavy that they're pulling them up and breaking them. Obviously, it's our duty to please the crowd and keep them dancing, but I think there's a fine line between always pleasing the crowd and breaking and supporting talent that we're behind.
Muziklee, Inzane.
Yeah, I'm just, well, from a radio perspective, I'm not really much of a club DJ, but from a radio perspective, we've played songs, as long as the quality level is the same, right? People can't tell the difference. 'Cause we don't play a song and say, hey, yo, this is your Canadian dude, you know what I'm saying? Because people all of a sudden get this mental thing and they turn off. We don't want to hear who that guy is because you said he's Canadian. But if you just play the song in the mix, we've had people call up saying, yo, who is that? And when they find out that person's from their own hometown, they're completely shocked. Right. So quality level, I think we're there. It's just getting that mental block out of people's heads that just because it's Canadian doesn't mean it's inferior to what's out there right now.
Sure. Gentlemen?
I'm good. I was like, I couldn't say it any better.
Definitely. Today's show, we are going to cover a lot of different topics regarding Canadian hip-hop, and this one featuring the music, we left it to some very capable hands, DJ Channel 9, Muziklee, Inzane, Grand Whiz. Respect. We want to thank you for coming through and talking about that. We're going to continue the conversation. There's no question that when you take a quick scan of the dial and take in radio, pop television, or even the club scene, urban music and urban influence is paramount in the experience of those mediums. If quality is no longer the overlying factor to barring Canadian urban music from our playlists, then what could that remaining factor be? And if we can answer that question, Canada, what steps will we take to further embrace urban and, in this case, hip-hop culture in Canada? Or is it already happening? After the commercial break, we will look beyond the music to see how hip-hop culture is being incorporated into the arts and speak to a few guests who deliver some very interesting and creative events themselves, speaking about Canadian hip-hop. This is CHRY 105.5, and you're listening to Richer Than Music, Canada's Getting Colder, a perspective on Canadian hip-hop culture.
It was a cool and lonely, open shout style that coerced her to smile, shock another to the fact.